Welcome to the Crochet Hangout. I'm Kendra, and today we will be making the Sweet Grass Runner. This runner will add a bit of flair to your spring table or other decor. The Premier Yarn Sweet Roll yarn has its own color changing effect, allowing you to focus on practicing the loop stitch. On first appearance, the loop stitch may seem complicated, but by the end of this runner, you will be an expert. While the stitch is fairly simple to accomplish, I will walk you through the steps. To get your own printable copy of the Sweetgrass Runner, please head over to www.crochethangout.com, where you'll find patterns, tutorials, and more. Today I'm going to be walking you through the procedure needed to make the Sweetgrass Runner. What you're going to need is one skein of Premier Yarn Sweet Roll. In the case of the example, we used Mint Swirl. This is Cherry Swirl. So you could use any color of the Sweet Roll in the loop stitch pattern and get a grassy effect. The green would be most appropriate for springtime. The way the Premier Yarn Sweet Roll yarn works is it is one skein of yarn with a color progression of 3 different colors. You can see there's going to be a dark, medium, and a light in some order. Each colorway uses a different progression, and I noticed that the colors are not always in equal amounts. But you're to start from the center of the cake and work your way through the entire ball, letting the colors change naturally. By letting the yarn do the work for you, you can focus on learning the loop stitch. You're also going to require a hook, size K, 6.5 millimeter. This is an ergonomic handled hook. In addition, you're going to need a tapestry needle for weaving in your ends. It is worth noting that this runner is made out of acrylic yarn and for decorative use only. Since this is made out of acrylic yarn, you do not want it to come into contact with hot items as it may melt. In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to begin your table runner and start your loop stitch. You can then head over to www.crochethangout.com, print out your own printable pattern, and follow those instructions to finish the rest of the runner. So our first instruction is to begin with a foundation double crochet for 36 stitches. A foundation double crochet is basically going to create both your chain and double crochet within the same stitch. This is going to provide a very clean and evenly weighted edge. You'll notice that both ends of our runner look practically identical. If you were to do a chain and then double crochet into it, you will notice that your starting chain is a little bit thinner along the edge and has a different appearance on the side as well. I'm going to walk you through how to do a foundation double crochet. We're going to begin with a slip knot by wrapping around our finger, sliding our hook in, drawing up a loop, and pulling it tight. Now that we're attached to our hook, we're going to begin by chaining 2. So you're going to yarn over, chain 1, and 2. Now we're going to yarn over, since we are creating a double crochet. We're going to insert our hook in the second chain from our hook, so the first chain that we made, and we're going to draw up a loop. This is the chain of our stitch. Now we're going to yarn over, draw up a loop to begin our double crochet. Then we're going to do yarn over, through 2 loops, yarn over through 2 loops, in the same process as a standard double crochet. Then we're going to yarn over again, insert our hook in what was the chain we created, making sure that we get both the front and back loop on top. We're going to yarn over, draw up a loop, yarn over, draw up a loop to begin your double crochet, yarn over through 2 loops, yarn over through 2 loops. Now you've completed 2 stitches. I'm going to show you one more time. We're going to yarn over and go into that chain that we created, making sure that you get both the front and the back loop on top of your hook. You're going to yarn over, draw up a loop, yarn over, go through the first loop on your hook to begin your double crochet, yarn over through 2 loops, yarn over through 2 loops. That is your third double crochet. And as you can see, we have 1, 2, 3 stitches on the top, and you can see on the back side there's 1, 2, 3 chains on the bottom. You're going to continue this until you have 36 foundation double crochets. I'll meet you at that point. So as you can see in today's tutorial, I'm going to walk you through an abbreviated version of the pattern, basically just to show you the techniques. You can then refer back to the pattern to get the right number of stitches as the pattern indicates. So now that I've finished doing, in my case, 12 foundation double crochets, I am going to chain 3, which counts as a double crochet here and throughout the rest of the pattern. Then I'm going to turn my work and double crochet in the next stitch. So since this counts as our first double crochet, we're not going to double crochet into this hole right here. We're going to go into the next stitch, draw up a loop, yarn over through 2 loops, yarn over through 2 loops to create our, in this case, it's the second double crochet of our row. Then you're going to double crochet in each stitch across your row. Your runner is going to begin and end with 2 rows of double crochet. This is going to help to keep your runner flat and keep your edges from curling. Row 3 is going to begin our loop stitch. We're going to start by chaining 1 and turning our work. We're going to single crochet in the first 2 stitches. You'll notice that the non-loop stitches along the first 2 and last 2 stitches of each row are going to act in the same way as these first 2 rows of double crochet. They're going to help your runner to lay flat and not have the edges curl on you. Next, we're going to do 32 loop stitches as the pattern indicates. To complete a loop stitch, you're going to loop the yarn over your index finger. You're going to insert your hook into the next stitch, making sure you have the front and back loop on top of your hook. You're going to go over the front loop of your yarn and behind the back in kind of a figure 8. Then you're going to pull this loop through your stitch. With your finger still under the yarn, you're going to yarn over and pull that bit through the 2 loops on your hook. At this point, you can let go of your loop. And basically what you did was created a loop over your finger and then trapped it with the stitch so that it can't go anywhere. Let me show you how we do this again. You loop the yarn over your finger. Note that whatever length you make this loop is how long your loops are going to end up. So if you wanted really long loops, you could make a big loop and then make sure you trap that. But I find that the wrapping around your finger is going to be the most consistent measure for you. So we wrap it over our finger, insert our hook in the next stitch. We're going to go over the front bit, behind the back bit, draw up a loop, yarn over, and draw through the 2 loops on our hook. And make sure that everything is snug. I'm going to show you just a few more times. We're going to have the yarn looped over our finger. We're going to insert in the next stitch, over the front bit, behind the back bit, draw that through, yarn over through both loops on your hook. Again, the next stitch, you're going to put your hook in, go over the front bit, behind the back bit, draw up a loop, yarn over through both loops on your hook. Once again, make sure you have the yarn over your finger. You're going to go through the stitch, go over the front bit, around the back, draw up a loop, yarn over with the 2 loops on your hook. You'll find that fairly soon after you start this stitch, your wrist will learn the right motion. And you may find that you need to do a few practice rows or even just get started on your runner. And if you're unhappy after a few rows, once you've picked up on the stitch better, you can just go back, frog those out, and continue on once you kind of have your bearings a bit. So you're going to go across, and in the pattern it says to do 32 stitches, or basically you're going to want to go until you have 2 stitches left in your row. Keep in mind that your chain 3 was your first stitch, so it's going to be a stitch at the top of your chain 3 and a stitch in the last regular double crochet. So then we're going to put our 2 single crochets in, and make sure that one goes on the top of your turning chain. Now we're on to row 4. You're going to chain 2. This is going to count as your first half double crochet. You're going to turn your work, and you're going to half double crochet in each stitch across. This is going to kind of act as a rest row. It also gives a little bit of space between your grass loops, gives them a little room to breathe. Now you may find that it's a bit difficult in the beginning to see where to place your half double crochets. What you want to do if you're having issues is turn your work on its side. Turn your yarn over. If you turn it on its side, you can see pretty obviously where to poke your hook in. Make sure you have both that front and back loop. Draw up a loop, yarn over through the 3 loops on your hook. You're just going to continue in this manner across your row, finishing it off with half double crochets. Then the pattern says that for rows 5 through 60, you're just going to alternate rows 3 and 4. So a row of loop stitch, a row of half double crochet, and then you're going to finish your runner off with 2 rows of double crochet. Fasten off your work and weave in your ends. And here we have our finished sweetgrass runner. Our sample is made in Premier Yarn Sweet Roll in the color Mint Swirl, which is a variety of greens. You can substitute any size 4 medium weight acrylic yarn of your choice in whatever color or style you want. The Sweet Roll does give you the option to have the color change happen without you having to do any additional work. This allows you to focus on learning the loop stitch. If you'd like to get your own copy of the printable PDF pattern, you can head over to www.crochethangout.com, where you'll find patterns, tutorials, and more. Thanks for joining me today. We'll see you next time. Bye!